This is Video Plaza. You are listening to me, Medwin, and...
As always, me, Gary.
So this is our trailer talk, and for this particular week's trailer, we will be focusing in on Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, please be aware that much like the disclaimer at the beginning of the trailer with Tom Holland, we will be delving into spoilers when it comes to Avengers Endgame. So if you haven't seen that, then please be warned that we will be giving away spoilers. Gary, just kick things off, what did you think of the trailer, overall view of it?
For one, Marvel have now confirmed, or have they, the multiverse in the MCU.
Yeah.
And now they have...
Which we first saw in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, but Into the Spider-Verse isn't an MCU film.
No.
But it's a Marvel character that's been adapted by Sony.
So is the multiverse something that exists only in the Spider-Man comics or in Marvel as a whole?
No, it's Marvel as a whole.
Okay.
They have numerous, numerous dimensions.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of Old Man Logan, if you've read the comic, if you've seen the Logan film, then this will still kind of work. Old Man Logan is an alternative future with Wolverine, where he's kind of, started a family, retired, got old, so forth and so forth. And that isn't technically the mainline Logan, a.k.a. Wolverine. So he is now the mainline Logan in the comic books, whereas Wolverine's actually dead in the mainline comic book universe.
Oh, okay.
So they brought him out from another dimension to bring him back as a character in the main 616 continuity, I think it is.
I'm assuming as well there's a strong possibility that obviously with Marvel kicking off in the sort of the 60s, and then as the decades went on to grab children, but obviously a lot of
grab children.
grab children's interests, because obviously that was aimed at a children's market, that they would play around with ideas and sort of go, what if? Did have the what if
Well,
range
they're
as well.
supposed to be doing a what if cartoon animated series for the Disney Plus streaming service.
So that in a sense they would kind of imagine a evil version of whichever Marvel kind of character kind of thing.
Version of Captain America who hails Hydra.
Yes, we obviously it's a more recent thing, but in terms of, I'm sure there must be examples from the 60s and 70s and 80s and so on. And what's interesting is that these were just fun ideas to mix things up, which have now, obviously, thanks to the popularity of Marvel and superhero films in general, are taken with serious reverence of this previously, back when it was published, was a jokey kind of thing, but now this is a serious, multi-dimensional discussion.
I mean, the multiverse in the MCU could be very, very important. I mean, they now have the rights to the X-Men and Fantastic Four. They could bring the current X-Men actors over to the MCU and explain their absence because they've been pulled from a different dimension.
Yeah.
But they could even use that excuse. They could do a 60s-based X-Men Origins film or Fantastic Four and then drag them into modern times.
Of course,
Do a little bit of what they did with Captain America, but without the ice.
Well, in a sense, the Avengers Endgame has sown the seeds of time travel as a starting point. Because I guess, in a way, to be able to access a launching off point of accessing parallel dimensions and so on begins, I guess, essentially with some form of time travel to begin with. And then it kind of expands from there, much like it would be if you kind of crossed over into a multiverse, it would expand. So, yeah, I mean, it's good that the Avengers Endgame came before this. Obviously,
sows the seeds,
because I think that if we didn't have these big events and we cut straight to Nick Fury approaching Spider-Man and saying, I found a way of accessing different dimensions.
So we've got Nick Fury back.
Yeah, it would seem a bit more far-fetched than it does if, Thankfully, it doesn't seem as far-fetched because we've established a lot of things.
Far-fetched pre-Endgame.
Yes, yeah. So, in terms of the trailer...
well, we also have Mysterio, played by...
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I always make you say it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Mysterio is known for not actually being... Well, he's a villain in the comics. But he's not known for actually having any powers whatsoever. He's a magician.
Yes, yeah, of course.
So he comes in and says, I'm from another, another dimension because of a tear in the multiverse because of the click. Which click, they don't tell us, but these, if you've seen Endgame, which you presumably have if you, hear the word spoiler and are still listening.
Yeah.
It could be any of the, the clicks. So it could have been Thanos when he first clicked, Thanos when he clicked the second time to destroy the gauntlet. Well, it could be four different clicks. Or it could be the Incredible Hulk's click to bring the 50% of the universe back. Or it could be the I am Iron Man click at the end that killed off Thanos.
Yeah, so in a sense, he could just be exploiting the fact that the current status quo is so disbalanced that you could convince anyone of, no, I've just come from a different dimension. Don't worry about me, sort of thing.
So there is a chance that he is actually the villain of the piece, and those elemental creatures that he's fighting are all just fake, created by Mysterio. There's also the chance that he could be telling the truth, and he's actually just a different world's version of Mysterio, and he's actually a good guy. And there's a bad version in our universe that pops up, but you never know.
Other aspects I felt with the direction of the trailer as well, because obviously that was something that which I agree, it could be that the rug is pulled from underneath us, and Marvel are very good at doing that. But I do think that potentially I don't know, I mean, you might have a differing view. But
everything could be fake.
Is that having Jon Favreau as happy as the mentor... It would have been more interesting if it was maybe the one who takes over the mantle of Captain America. If he'd been more present. Yeah, Falcon.
No, they're going for Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau, for a reason.
Do you think it must be tying into something?
It's tying him in to the Iron Man mythos without having Iron Man there. It's all about this young lad that has seen his mentor die in front of him, and he has got these giant iron boots to fill. They are making it like, right, there's this young lad, and he needs to be the saviour of the universe in a way of Tony Stark was. He has to fill them boots. Where in essence, that could just be a one-film arc where Tom Holland never fills Iron Man's boots.
No, true.
But he has been mentored by Tony Stark, so he is going to, if it was real, he would feel the need to step up and become the next great hero.
I wonder in that case as well, because of his involvement and Happy being the Marvel's closest thing to a... what's Batman's butler called? Alfred, yeah. It's the closest thing that Marvel has...
Pennywhistle?
Or something like that.
Oh, no, it's not Pennywise, that's it. That's a different film.
But with Iron Man passing away, who will inherit his estate, essentially? And it could be...
Well, presumably it'd be Pepper and his kid. And his
yeah. But I guess there would still be stocks or something given to... Because of his closeness. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to leave all his tech to Pepper and the kid who have no idea how to use it.
Well, exactly, yeah.
And Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Peter Parker, it is always a scientific mind. Not to the great heights of Tony Stark and, and Hank Pym of the world. And
no, he's got potential.
He's got potential because he's still a kid. But he does grow when he gets older into the heights of one of the great minds of the MCU. Not to the heights of, say, Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Of the Fantastic Four, but we don't have a Reed Richards yet anyway.
No. I did think, jumping around different points within it as well, is that what was funny within the trailer is that when Mary Jane, or MJ simply in this trailer...
Which has not been confirmed is the Mary Jane Watson.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not confirmed.
Not confirmed. Though, in terms of that...
It is, but it's not confirmed.
That bit of dialogue they have, which looks like it could be Venice or something.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you can carry on.
Oh, yeah. So when she says, oh, you're Spider-Man, aren't you? And he goes, nah, I'm not. And you think that particular scene of the trailer is going to cut there, as if to say, like, she is... got very close to the wire and she's joking without realizing the truth of it. But in actual fact, she's not saying it as an actual joke. She's saying it deadpan, genuinely, like, you are Spider-Man. And he's going, yeah. And then she obviously counts. And that's the point where we think, oh, okay, this film is kind of... That's an interesting character development in the fact that she now is no longer in the dark about this.
I mean, the MCU... as it is, isn't really known for
mass vigilante kind of.
Yeah, they don't have alter egos.
No,
Iron Man and Tony Stark should have been two separate entities in the eyes of the world. But Robert Downey Jr. cameras are going, he goes off script and turns around and goes, "I am Iron Man." And John Favreau and Kevin Feige turn around and go, "You know what? I love it. Don't care if it boxes us in. That's the ending we want."
Oh.
That wasn't on script.
I see.
So it isn't a shock in the MCU to have a character not really have an alter ego. So Parker and Spider-Man are one in the same.
My only potential problem, but I think the character development and investment in everyone within the MCU is so strong anyway. But I do think that this particular villain might have the same.
But we don't know he's a villain yet.
We don't. Well, it's true. We don't know the villain.
Probably
but the one who's the water demon,
the elemental
demon kind of thing, could end up being a forgettable villain, much like the villain in Thor: Dark World.
Yeah, but if they're just figments of Mysterio's imagination and they're just magic tricks, then it doesn't matter if that's all.
No. I mean, taking it on face value, if they are...
They don't look like proper villains.
No, it's true. If that's the thing. As long, I guess, if it is following along the lines of what you've just said, then it is an interesting... brilliant narrative device sort of thing. But if it is its own separate entity that it's come from a separate universe and it's separate galaxy or something like that, it's come to
from a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, and it's come to wreak havoc in London and Venice. That's right, we're in London. We're scared. We're right next door to.
We're in Manchester.
We're right next door to Tower Bridge.
We're in Manchester. We're fine.
No, we're not. We're in Buckingham Palace.
We're in Manchester. We're used to water. We're
That's
fine.
True.
We're used to being
But if
rained on.
Hopefully it'll have a relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
The thing is, both trailers could both be totally different to the end. The end game of the movie.
Yeah, the end game. Yeah.
The actual release of the movie, you could go and watch it and you'd be like, this isn't what I was sold. Which happened with most modern MCU films, but you never feel cheated by that.
No. Well, and also is that you don't, with Spider-Man sequels, they have notoriously failed with the landing kind of thing.
I don't know, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, directed by Sam Raimi, is...
What year did it come out? Come on.
I don't know.
Give me all the trivia now.
Is seen as one of the best comic book movies ever made. I don't agree, and I didn't like the original Spider-Man trilogy when it was released, to be fair.
Yeah,
but it is seen as a great film,
but
far superior to the first and the third.
Speaking of which, with the trilogy of films, with the third one, is that what was massively disappointing is I remember having a poster of the third Spider-Man film, and Spider-Man in his black symbiote sort of suit. And
symbiote. It depends, because that Venom film, they said it about 1,000,001 different ways.
Yeah, they did. They did pronounce it in different ways. That I was thinking in a very sort of basic sense of, wow, that looks cool. He's in a black version of his suit. Wow, so cool. But then the film was an embarrassment, and it's definitely an image that you wouldn't want as a poster on your wall, unfortunately.
I had the visual poster at the time, and when I watched the film, I got rid of the poster.
Yeah, I did. It was exact same story with me. And
right next to my Kill Bill poster.
For once, what is nice is that we may, with this film, see the Spider-Man in a similar alternate costume that is kind of cool and will sort of do what the third Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, couldn't do, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this whole the multiverse idea even could open up the wormhole, the spider hole, that sounds wrong, to the current Sony universe of Spider-Man films, which has now started with Venom, which is going to continue on with Morpheus, which was actually partly filmed in Manchester.
Yeah.
So, just getting that in there. With Jared Leto, or however you want to pronounce his name, as the titular character, Morpheus, the living vampire, who is a Spider-Man villain. So they've got their own little Spider-Man...
How did he manage that? How did they manage to get rid of his tattoos that he had from being the Joker? Did he still have that tattoo?
They weren't real, mate. They weren't real.
No? Oh.
So I am a little bit worried about him playing a villain again.
Yes. Yeah.
After the Joker. But then again, Blade Runner 2049, he didn't do anything wrong in that. I hadn't finished yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. So you don't know, with that Spider-Man Fox villain universe, they could use this now with the multiverse as a way to bring all them characters into the main MCU. Or keep them separately, but every so often peek them round the corner.
Yeah, true. The other thing I think a lot of people have their thoughts and opinions on is that the future of Phase 4 definitely seems to be more heading in the direction of Spider-Man being the torchbearer, being the one leading the pack. Not
Captain Marvel.
Exactly, yeah. I think that had Captain Marvel been a success, whether or not they would have they probably would have done, as they have the money, they probably would have reworked Far From Home to kind of incorporate certain elements of downplaying Spider-Man in favor of Captain Marvel, etc. sort of thing.
I don't know. I don't think they'd ever really downplay Peter, but they might not have made him such a face of the MCU.
No. I mean, it's a very hard way of describing it, but they would have had an inclusion of a scene, let's say, like a post-credit scene or something, or maybe something like a mid-credit scene where Captain Marvel turns up or whatever. But I can't imagine that being the case anymore.
They had that meeting in Endgame where he's, I'm Peter,
Yeah, that's true.
You're awesome, or whatever he bloody said, I can't remember. But we don't know if the film that we're seeing portrayed in the trailer is really going to be the film that we're going to go to watch at the cinema.
Did you feel...
Because it is the MCU. They like playing tricks with us.
Yeah, it's true. But I guess what's interesting is it's been a while since...
a Stained joke, the band Stained with the song. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Private Joke.
Is that's a great name of a film as well, Private Joke.
Yeah, a bit of a weird film.
We've come away from the ensemble films with Endgame, and prior to that, Infinity War. And with this being a standalone film, we are getting more of the essence of the, showing more scenes of the film than they would have done with Endgame, which is much more secretive. So it is hard to compare the two alongside each other as trailers and what the end product might be, because Avengers Endgame was much more cloak and dagger about things as opposed to Far From Home.
So we never know. I mean, we have our theories. We will go through these theories at greater length in our weekly podcast.
Yes. So we are just about to enter into recording our podcast, which will be available on Monday, which we do as every Monday. In terms of our social media, we are across pretty much all of them. So it's Facebook, it's Video Plaza. Instagram is at videoplazapodcast. And on Twitter, we're at videoplazapodc1.
So yes, if you have any theories that we as Video Plaza have not come across or not thought of, then, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And please...
Yeah, please like and subscribe. And we do have additional information, like an email address and stuff like that, for any suggestions you may have for future videos.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.